In recent years, a growing number of individuals across the globe have reported a sense of spiritual awakening, a profound inner shift that redefines their understanding of purpose, identity, and divine connection. This awareness is often marked by a deep recognition. They are not here by chance. They are part of a spiritual minority, often referred to as the chosen ones. This term, rooted in spiritual traditions, symbolizes those who have been set apart for a higher purpose, tasked with embodying light in an evolving world. This report explores the concept of divine authority granted to chosen individuals, the signs of spiritual transition they experience, and the distinct responsibilities that accompany such a path. It also aims to clarify the difference between chosen ones and other spiritual entities, particularly angels, and why the authority granted to human vessels is both rare and unparalleled. For many, the spiritual journey begins subtly. A persistent sense of being different, of not quite fitting into traditional systems or expectations, becomes a constant presence. Often dismissed or misunderstood, this feeling deepens over time and may eventually lead to transformative moments, periods of solitude, adversity, or even isolation that strip away superficial attachments and bring the individual face to face with their core identity. This awakening is not accidental. The timing is intentional. Spiritualists assert that this is what is referred to as divine alignment. When a person is brought into awareness, at the precise moment, they are spiritually ready to carry out their higher purpose. In this context, awakening is not just about self-discovery, but about stepping into a role that has been divinely orchestrated since birth. Many chosen individuals describe lives marked by extraordinary trials. These include rejection, betrayal, emotional upheaval, or prolonged periods of being misunderstood. While these experiences may seem random or unjust at first, they are often viewed in retrospect as essential elements of spiritual preparation. The theory here is that resistance serves not to break an individual, but to refine and sharpen them, like metal in a forge. This notion echoes spiritual teachings across multiple traditions. Greatness is often birthed through suffering. The chosen. One's life is rarely smooth, but each obstacle encountered is considered a tool for developing resilience, empathy, and spiritual maturity. According to this perspective, these difficulties are not evidence of divine neglect, but of divine trust, that the individual is capable of handling what others cannot. A key milestone in the life of a chosen individual is the realization that their phase of preparation has ended. What once felt like endless learning or spiritual testing begins to transform into purposeful action. This moment marks the transition from a student of spiritual truth to an embodiment of that truth. At this stage, the chosen one no longer operates from uncertainty, but from conviction. It is at this juncture that doubts begin to fade and a new internal directive emerges: the responsibility to lead. Those who walk this path often become spiritual mentors, visionaries, or guides, not necessarily in formal roles, but through the influence they carry in their communities and relationships. Their energy alone becomes a catalyst for change. One of the most provocative beliefs within this framework is the idea that chosen individuals hold greater authority than angels. While angels are revered as celestial messengers, they operate under direct divine command. Their actions, although powerful, are bound by structure and obedience. They do not possess the freedom to choose or the burden of navigating uncertainty. Chosen individuals, by contrast, are considered co-creators with divine energy. They are believed to have been granted free will, intuition, and emotional range, tools that enable them to impact both the physical and spiritual realms in ways angels cannot. Their role involves navigating the complexity of human existence while maintaining spiritual alignment, an undertaking that requires both agency and discipline. This distinction, however, is not about superiority. Rather, it emphasizes the weight of human responsibility. Unlike angels, chosen ones must choose to align themselves with divine truth repeatedly, often in the face of opposition, doubt, and temptation. Their path is not fixed. It is forged through conscious action and faith. A recurring theme in spiritual testimony is that chosen individuals possess a noticeable energetic presence. Those around them either feel drawn to their authenticity and wisdom or feel threatened by the light they project. In either case, their presence rarely goes unnoticed. They are often seen as disruptors, not through rebellion, but because their energy reveals truth. That truth may comfort some while making others uncomfortable. This dynamic is one reason chosen individuals are often misunderstood. Their vibration, or spiritual frequency, does not align with societal norms, and their perspective challenges established ways of thinking. Yet it is precisely this ability to challenge illusions that underscores their purpose. They are not meant to blend in, but to stand out as examples of what it means to live in divine alignment. Spiritual teachers emphasize that chosen individuals are not forced into their roles. They must accept them. Unlike celestial beings that operate out of duty, chosen ones must choose obedience to divine will daily. This voluntary commitment is part of what makes their spiritual authority so significant. The power of free will, when aligned with divine purpose, becomes a force capable of shifting not just personal outcomes, but collective realities. The belief here is that when a chosen individual speaks or acts with faith, their intention sends a ripple through the spiritual dimension, causing material and energetic responses to follow. This belief is reflected in numerous accounts of synchronicity, where thoughts and intentions manifest rapidly into reality. For the chosen, these events are not random. They are seen as evidence that spiritual authority is active and functioning as intended. One of the less discussed aspects of this path is the sense of isolation that can come with spiritual awakening. As individuals elevate to higher states of awareness, they often find their previous social circles and relationships no longer align with their values or mission. This shift is not rooted in arrogance, but in energetic dissonance. What once fit comfortably now feels misaligned. This solitude, however, is viewed as temporary and purposeful. It provides space for reflection, deeper alignment, and preparation for the next stage of influence. In time, those who are meant to journey with the chosen individual will arrive, often bringing greater harmony and shared vision. Perhaps the most important message conveyed to chosen individuals is that they are no longer meant to remain hidden. The period of internal preparation must eventually give way to external action. Spiritual authority, when not exercised, serves no purpose. The calling is not merely to be wise, but to use that wisdom to bring transformation. The world, according to this philosophy, is in a period of great upheaval. Illusions are being dismantled, and new paradigms are forming. In this context, chosen individuals are believed to be essential contributors to global spiritual evolution. Their presence, words, and actions hold the potential to awaken others and shift consciousness. Ultimately, this stage of awakening leads to a clear directive. Rise. Step into the power that has been prepared for you. Speak not from fear, but from truth. Move not for recognition, but from purpose. As resistance increases, so does the need for spiritual clarity and discipline. Chosen ones are not here for comfort. They are here for change. And change does not come through silence or passivity. It comes through action, through standing firm in what is right, even when it is unpopular. The world may resist, but it cannot overcome what is divinely ordered. The defining shift between Preparation and activation comes when the chosen individual no longer seeks validation from the external world. Instead, they begin to trust their intuition, their connection to the divine, and the inner compass that has always guided them, often subtly, now audibly. In this stage, spiritual disciplines such as meditation, reflection, fasting, and prayer are no longer rituals of seeking, but tools of alignment. The chosen one no longer asks, "Am I ready?" They declare, "I am already equipped." It is this certainty that becomes the foundation of their authority. Their energy changes. Conversations shift. Intentions become clearer, and life begins to respond accordingly. This alignment does not make life easier, but it does make it purposeful. Every interaction, decision, and challenge is now seen through the lens of a divine assignment. Walking in divine authority requires more than recognition. It demands mastery. Chosen individuals must learn to regulate not just their actions, but their inner environment. Emotional intelligence, spiritual awareness, and self-discipline become essential. Many spiritual traditions assert that authority in the external world can only be achieved after authority is established within. In practical terms, this means mastering fear, resisting distractions, and avoiding the urge to prove oneself. It also involves setting boundaries, protecting one's energy from people or environments that dilute purpose. Not all relationships can continue in the new season of elevation. As the chosen one ascends, relationships based on old patterns often fade. In their place, new, more aligned connections emerge. Relationships based on truth, mutual purpose, and spiritual resonance. One of the most evident changes during activation is the shift in how others perceive the chosen individual. People feel their presence even before a word is spoken. Rooms quiet down. Eyes turn. Attention sharpens. Some individuals feel comforted, others intimidated, but very few remain neutral. This phenomenon is not rooted in ego or charisma, it is energetic. The chosen one, now aligned with divine truth, radiates clarity. This clarity either calls others to rise or forces them to confront the falsehoods in their lives. Such presence is not meant to divide, but to reveal. In doing so, the chosen individual becomes a mirror that reflects spiritual truth. And yet, with this influence comes increased responsibility. Every word, every action, every silence carries weight. The chosen one must be intentional, not performative. Their authority is not about volume, it's about vibration. A single sentence spoken in divine alignment can shift someone's life more than 1,000 words spoken for attention. Speech becomes one of the most powerful tools in the chosen one's arsenal. Spiritual doctrine and ancient texts alike affirm the creative power of the spoken word. "Let there be light" was not a suggestion, it was a command. Likewise, when chosen individuals speak with aligned intention, spiritual realms respond. This is why careless words become dangerous. Doubtful declarations weaken authority. The chosen must speak life, truth, peace, and alignment, even when external circumstances suggest otherwise. Their role is not to narrate the chaos, but to declare the transformation beyond it. Intentional speech goes hand in hand with intentional thought. Mental discipline, focus, and spiritual discernment are now required at all times. The chosen one must understand that what they meditate on expands. What they speak into the world becomes an energetic directive. With elevation comes opposition. As the chosen one steps into visibility, they become a spiritual disruptor. Energies that once tolerated them when they were hidden now respond aggressively to their rising influence. This is not failure. This is confirmation. Resistance is part of spiritual governance. It does not mean the chosen one is on the wrong path. It means the path has power. Chosen individuals must learn to differentiate between distractions and tests, between emotional reactions and divine guidance. These trials are not designed to break the chosen one, but to sharpen them further. Just as fire purifies gold, pressure activates purpose. The chosen must understand this. The weight they feel is not punishment. It is responsibility. The spiritual path is not immune to ego traps. Once the chosen one begins to influence others, the risk of spiritual pride grows. This is why humility is critical. True authority does not boast. It serves. It uplifts. It heals. The goal is not to gain followers, fame, or admiration. The goal is alignment. The moment a chosen one seeks recognition over impact, they begin to step out of alignment. True spiritual leaders lead by example, not by control. They point others to truth, not to themselves. Ego demands applause. Authority requires stillness. The chosen must learn to operate in divine silence, allowing their presence to speak louder than their words, and their actions to reflect inner conviction. Another common experience during activation is the increasing need for solitude. Many chosen individuals report a season of separation, not out of bitterness, but out of necessity. In this period, their energy is being recalibrated. They are being prepared for the next level of service. This solitude is often misinterpreted by others as detachment or arrogance, but in reality, it is a sacred space where the chosen one reconnects deeply with the divine. It is here they receive new visions, refined assignments, and clarity of mission. Eventually, this solitude gives way to new relationships, those who are aligned, supportive, and spiritually mature. The chosen one is never truly alone. Divine forces guide, protect, and align their steps with extraordinary precision. Once activated, chosen individuals begin to experience rapid shifts. Opportunities emerge. People seek their guidance. They become stabilizing forces in unstable environments. This is not by design. It is by alignment. Their mission becomes bigger than personal success. It becomes about collective elevation. Chosen ones may be called to teach, create, counsel, write, lead, or heal. They may not hold formal titles, but their impact is undeniable. Importantly, they no longer move from ambition. They move from instruction. Every step is guided by divine timing. Every decision is weighed against purpose, not convenience. The world, however, does not always respond positively to light. Some will mock. Others will resist. Systems that thrive on illusion will attempt to discredit the truth. But the chosen one must remain anchored. The key is not reaction. It is persistence. The chosen one is not called to defend themselves. They are called to remain in alignment. Over time, truth reveals itself. Impact speaks louder than opposition. The chosen must also recognize that their light will attract both the genuine and the deceptive. Not everyone who seeks their presence has good intentions. Discernment becomes essential. Boundaries must be maintained. By embodying their truth, chosen ones become living proof that transformation is possible. Their lives reflect what divine alignment looks like. Not perfection, but purpose. Not superiority, but clarity. They do not preach as much as they demonstrate. They do not force. They invite. And in doing so, they inspire others to begin their own journeys of awakening. It is important to note that chosen ones do not save people. Everyone must choose their path. What they offer is visibility, a glimpse of what it means to walk in divine power in a world often rooted in confusion. At this stage, the Chosen One fully embraces the concept of co-creation. They no longer pray with hesitation. They decree with certainty. Their thoughts are strategic. Their actions are purposeful. They no longer operate from hope. They operate from knowing. What they envision, they manifest. What they align with, they attract. Their life becomes a living example of spiritual law in motion. In essence, they have become vessels of divine will, not through blind obedience, but through conscious alignment. They are not robots of faith. They are architects of purpose. The path of the Chosen One is not glamorous. It is sacred. It does not guarantee comfort. It demands clarity. It is not defined by popularity, but by purpose. And it is not measured by accolades, but by the lives transformed through quiet, consistent action. In a world filled with noise, Chosen Ones walk in stillness. In a culture obsessed with speed, they operate with intention. In a society driven by fear, they embody faith. And above all, they remember, their power is not for display. It is for impact. Are no longer who you were when this message found you. You are standing at the threshold of your highest self, equipped, refined, and ready to lead. Understand this clearly. Your transformation is not accidental. It is the result of divine design. You have been prepared through hardship, elevated through silence, and called out from among many, not to follow, but to guide. Everything you have faced was preparing you to become an example of what divine truth looks like when embodied. Not perfection, but alignment. Not dominance, but service. Not pride, but certainty. You are no longer required to shrink in the face of opposition. You are no longer asked to justify your purpose to those who cannot see it. The world may not fully understand your path, but that is not your concern. Your concern is obedience. Your focus is alignment. And your mission is clear. Awaken, act, and illuminate. The time has come to step fully into your role, not as a student seeking answers, but as a leader embodying wisdom. As you walk forward, you will continue to attract those who are ready for truth. You will become a mirror for transformation. Your presence will bring clarity, not because of who you are, but because of what you carry. And what you carry is sacred. You have been given something even the angels look upon with reverence: the ability to choose, to lead, to co-create. You have the authority to shift the spiritual atmosphere, not because of titles or rituals, but because your spirit is aligned with divine will. You are walking proof that power rooted in faith is unshakable. But remember, power is never the final goal. Transformation is, and with great power comes an even greater responsibility. Protect your peace. Guard your energy. Remain grounded. Keep your intentions pure. And above all, stay in alignment with the source from which your authority flows. The path ahead may not be simple, but it will be sacred. You will not walk it alone. Divine forces are with you, guiding your every step, aligning your every move, reinforcing your every word. Your voice matters. Your presence matters. And your calling is needed more than ever. Chosen One, this is your confirmation. You are not waiting for the next chapter. You are writing it. With every step, every action, every word spoken in truth, you are shaping reality. The world is not just watching, it is responding. Respond with clarity. Respond with strength. Respond with purpose. Because from this moment on, nothing remains the same. You are awakened. You are activated. You are chosen. And now, the world is about to witness what that truly means. Chosen one, if this message has spoken to your spirit, if you feel the truth of it resonating deeply within, you are being called to take the next step. Don't let this be just another moment that passes by. Let it be the moment you fully claim your divine identity and walk boldly in your purpose. Make your presence known. Comment, "I am chosen," below to affirm your awakening. Let the universe and the spiritual realm recognize your declaration. This isn't about validation from others. It's about alignment with who you truly are. If you haven't already, subscribe to this channel and tap the bell icon so you never miss another message crafted for your journey. This is just the beginning. More truth, clarity, and guidance is coming. Each message building on the last to support your transformation. And if this message touched your soul, share it with someone else who needs to be reminded of their power. We rise together. We awaken together. The time is now. Not tomorrow. Not later. Now. You are not alone. You are not ordinary. You are chosen, and the world needs the light you carry. Step forward and stay connected.